Dot, 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 dot. Good morning, everybody. This is Grant with State of the Spark. Today, we're going to be talking about the one phrase I want you to take away from this 200th episode, the one lesson summarized in a phrase that if you've heard anything we've talked about over the last year, because it's been more than a year, if you take one thing away from the 200th episode of this show, I want to summarize it in a single phrase that comes from an ancient text. No, it's not the Bible. An ancient text that summarizes the teachings that I've been trying to share over the years. Good morning, Brock. Thanks for jumping in almost immediately. Good morning, sir. And I wanted to give this to you, this gift of a phrase. I want to gift it to you to sit on, to ponder. We're going to cover that in today's lesson. We're also going to cover skatable sculptures. You know, we're going to have other news, including art news on the 200th episode. But before any of that, we're going to be covering Cup of Gratitude. I cannot believe you have not gotten completely annoyed with that yet. Brock's jumping in. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Grab your warm cup of coffee, my super friends. Let's celebrate today what we're grateful for. I, of course, want to hear from you in the comments for the 200th episode. Entertain me, please, and tell me what you're grateful for. You know I'm going to start. Here we go. What I am most grateful for is a big, giant, well, duh. It's the 200th episode of this show. I am so grateful that you have been along with me on this journey for some of it. And it's been highly fulfilling to me. It's been highly educational. I have been able to codify a lot of the things kicking around in my brain because I am forced to synthesize those things for you. So it's been highly educational, but some of the feedback I've heard from people has really blessed me. Some people who I didn't even know saw the show in the afternoon or didn't see the show the following week. I get some randos that come in, and I am just so grateful, absolutely grateful for that. What are you grateful for today? It's a Thursday. I told Marissa last night I'm treating Wednesday like a Friday. I'm going to work like I'm clearing my inbox, which I did yesterday. And then I'm going to wake up Thursday like it's a Monday to sprint today and tomorrow and a little bit Saturday to clear the deck. What are you grateful for today? What is absolutely keeping you pumped up? And listen, if it's difficult, borrow somebody else's gratitude. Grateful for friends, grateful for health, grateful for breath in my lungs, grateful for sunrises. I can see the sunrise peeking out. Find something and meditate on it. Internalize it. Katie says, oh my gosh, I love this. I love this. How cute. Katie says, this morning, I'm grateful for growth. I'm grateful that I get to live life with the wonderful, the illustrious, the powerful Jared Yates. Marissa says, yay, 200. Boom, that's what I'm talking about. I love it. Thank you guys so much. I am also grateful. Let's talk about other news. News that makes you smarter, I hope. Here we go. So Assemble, yes, Assemble creates skatable sculptures for the Folkestone Triennial. Now, that's a mouthful, and I'm really loving some of the sentences I get to say today. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just talk because I love the way words come out my mouth. I love the way some phrases sound, some words sound, and I love this sentence. Assemble creates skatable sculptures for Folkestone Triennial. So yes, a small group of architecture collective called Assemble. Who knew that there was such a thing as an architectural collective? But I guess. It's made up of 25 artists, and they have designed a public installation. You see, in Folkestone, UK, they've actually put together this triennial art collective, and they regularly install sculptures in art. And Folkestone apparently is a center place for a lot of art. Well, they've installed skatable sculptures made from local materials, including raw Kentish ragstone. That was an Irish accent. Sorry, my accents get worse the older I get. You know, they said this. They said that skateboarding is about appropriating found and existing objects of the public realm and adapting them through resourceful low-tech DIY means to play with them. That is what skateboarding is. So they've assembled sculptures to elevate the experience. Brock says, I am grateful for your jingles and transitions. Economical and makes me smile. Also, the show in general. It's a great, healthy pick-me-up, especially while solopreneuring. And I'm grateful for you, Brock. Sometimes my jingles are a convention because I don't want to have to edit this thing and put audio on later. Maybe I could have like a soundboard where I just hit a button and it just played my jingle. But I'm glad you're still tickled by it at least. So if you want to learn more about skatable sculptures, as I am, they look super cool. You got to check out this thumbnail. It's going to populate any second now because it shows how they're taking found rebar from a local steel plant. There it is right there in the thumbnail in Facebook. They took steel from a local steel plant and combined it with well-placed stones from the local area. And it basically, it's an art installation. Instead of like, keep you nasty skateboarders out of here, they do the opposite. And they're like, come on in and tear our shit up. So like, it's an awesome, fun interplay between art, the public space. Marissa says, no sound buttons. You have to do the jingles. I'll be doing that till the day I die. In fact, on my headstone, it won't say anything. Here lies Grant. And it'll be my ultimate performance art, based on the one phrase from the ancient Upanishads, which I'm going to share with you today. So that's kind of esoteric and awesome. Okay, for our second piece of other news. Researchers discover a layer hall effect in a 2D topological axion antiferromagnet. Now, there is no news on this last sentence. It's literally the sentence I just wanted to say. I was reading the news headlines and I read this in my head and it sounded so cool and I just wanted to say it on the air. Researchers discover a layer hall effect in a 2D topological axion antiferromagnet. Literally no news. Literally, I just wanted to say that. So if you would like to know more about a 2D topological axion antiferromagnet, then by all means, there in the comments, I have put the link. Again, no news here. I don't think that this will make you smarter, but being able to say sentences like this will absolutely make you smarter. 2D topological axion antiferromagnet. You're welcome. Moving on with our other piece of other news. In other news, scientists are giving AI the ability to imagine things that they have never seen before. Now, this headline should make you cry a little bit. And I want it to make you cry a little bit. I want it to inspire you a little bit, and here's why. Check this out. AI currently knows how to invent things like human faces or winning games of poker, and largely because we feed it large amounts of data and it self-learns what the best of the best is. AI has gotten so advanced that even in the latest Anthony Bourdain biopic that came out, biopic, I don't know how people pronounce it. I pronounce it biopic. But the character of Anthony Bourdain in several places was a deep fake. I don't know if people know that, but there's a big furor about they actually deep faked Anthony Bourdain into several scenes, some of the panoramics of the film. So humans, once human beings know what a cat is, and we know what color is, we can start imagining a tabby cat, an orange cat, a cat with white paws, a cat with black paws. We can envision that. But believe it or not, AI struggles to do this. Well, a team has come up with a way, and it's called controllable disentangled representation. Another phrase that is amazing to say, right? What's it called? It's called controllable disentangled representation. And if you sit there and think about the phrase, you're like, oh, okay, I can see what that means. But they're inventing this thing, which humans already do. But what they're doing is they're helping AI learn how to do this for itself. For example, if an artificial intelligence sees a red car and a blue bike, can it then imagine a blue car and a red bike? Can it start generating these images for itself? Here's why I think you should cry a little bit about this. From a life coaching, personal development perspective, I cannot tell you how often I talk to people and say, can you imagine what it would be like for you to hit your financial goals? Can you imagine, describe for me the picture of you hitting your fitness goals. Describe for me the picture of you, doing what it needs to take, doing what you need to do, accomplishing what it needs to take to achieve your goals. Can you picture it? And many people simply refuse. And hear me on this. I'm using this phrase specifically. They refuse to do it. They are capable of imagining. All people are capable of imagining. We are programming art. If it's so possible, it's so rudimentarily possible for the average person to imagine, we are now able to program AI to imagine things it has never seen before. It's basically creating combinations of this plus this, and let me creatively put those together. I cannot tell you, and maybe you don't suffer from this personally, but as a personal development coach, having had plenty of coaching sessions and plenty of life coaching, talking with small business owners and just coaching them through small business, can you imagine yourself being a marketer? I had this conversation yesterday, and they could not fathom. It's too difficult. That's for young people on TikTok. I don't know how to market. And I use the word refuse because it is a core human function to imagine. You've just not been cultivated and trained. But why I say refuse? Because you put up a brick wall to imagine yourself living the thing you've said you wanted to live. You might be procrastinating. You might which the person I spoke to yesterday, they were procrastinating by going to their default mode. Other people aren't procrastinating. They just have been trained. They've trained their brain to not imagine. But we can program AI. Don't let AI beat you in this regard. And it's a long time before a self-aware AI can honestly imagine circumstances better for itself. That's a long time. It's a calculation it could make. And I know that I could ask you, what does it take for you to achieve more? And you could say, well, da, 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 da. But then when I say, could you project yourself doing da, 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 da. And if there's a blockage at all, you're going to struggle to achieve that thing. So I was super convicted when I saw this piece of AI news because I immediately saw how humans I know struggle to do this, and we're programming computers to do this. Don't let AI beat you in this regard. And that's just a little nudge. And that's going to lead me to today's story. Let's talk about the one phrase that if I could leave you with and have you spark from the 200th episode forward. Let's say you never see another episode. And you go on, this is the one thing I pray that would be a gift to me and a gift from me to you. For you to walk away with this one ancient Upanishad phrase that I think summarizes so much of the paradoxes that I'm trying to allow you to be comfortable with in order to be happier, in order to be maybe not happier, but more fulfilled, and not just satisfied with where you're at, but satisfied while still striving joyously for the next level. Let's talk about an ancient father in India speaking to his son. And to do this, anytime we travel, we've got to get our Indiana Jones gear on. We got to get our gear going. So if you've got your own Indiana Jones hat, put it on. I want to see a photo in the comments because we're traveling across time and across the world. You see, we're going to visit an ancient Indian garden village. That's Hindi for village. And we're going to travel about 4,000 years back. We're going to travel through a sunken village and a sunken temple past where Mowgli and Beersheba are. And we're going to arrive in a small hillside hamlet. And you're going to zoom in and you're going to see a father speaking to his young son who's coming of age and depositing into his son the wisdom of the universe. See, the father is relaying to the son the principles. Mankind is made of X. X is made of Y. And this is how we're connected to the great Brahma. But as you know, with any angsty young son or teenager, he's wanting more answers, and he's trying to do things right. He's trying to be strong. He's trying to be right, and he's striving as hard as he can to be the best son to this Hindi family, the best Hindu he can be. He's trying to be good and connect with the gods, and he's just, if you can imagine angsty teen spirit, like you know what I'm talking about, the kid is just struggling, and the father deposits on him a single idea. Now let's zoom back. Let's zoom back into the world to today. talking to 3 small businesses just this week alone, small business owners, about how they're stuck. And they proposed closing. They said, I think we're going to close. And I said, wouldn't it be better just to grow? And they thought I was being snarky, and I really wasn't. And we looked at their calendar and we looked at their life, and we're starting to strategize growing instead of closing. But if you can parallel this ancient Hindu son who's trying to be good for his father and trying to be good for the family, and just like, I'm trying to work so hard, and his dad's just trying to be, son, it's okay. You'll get there. You got to work hard, but it's also okay. And the kid's like, oh, I'm trying to be good. Similarly, small business owners are caught in this. These small business owners are like, I'm trying to be Jeff Bezos, but it's also trying to be hyper local. I'm trying to grow my company, but I'm trying to be hyper craft. I don't know if I should do low prices or high prices. And I've just been spinning my wheels for so many years. And I don't know if I should quit. Let's leave off of the ancient Hindu father and son. Let's leave off of the small business owner, and let's arrive with you and your goals, whether they're weight goals and fitness goals, whether they're that passion project, whether they're that book you've wanted to write. You guys know I use that anecdote a lot, or that software you're trying to create, as we've used Brock's anecdote before, or the movement of positive personal development that we've been working at so long with State of the Spark. I hear from so many of you, I feel so far from my goals. I feel so separated from who I want to be. And sometimes I just want to quit and like do a normal thing. And maybe you're doing the normal thing and you just want to quit that and sit on a beach. We all feel that way. And really, the only thing the son doesn't need to do, the only thing the small business owners don't need to do, the only thing you don't need to do is quit. Or you could say it this way: the only thing you need to do is not quit. The only thing that son needs to do, the only thing small business owners need to do is not quit. You see, for my 200th show, I wanted to get super spiritual, right? I love getting deep in spiritual and esoteric. I love that. But I think what most of you need, and I think the legacy, if these threshold moments like show number 200, show number 100, if these threshold moments were anything, I want to leave you with phrases that stick in your brain, earworms that hook you, in order to encourage you when it's toughest. Let me give you the dad's response to the son from the ancient Chandogya Upanishad. Yes, I like reading. The ancient Chandogya Upanishad. The father says to the son is angsty and wound up. And will I live up to my goals? Will I live up to my dreams? Will I live up to the expectations of the gods? And the dad just kind of breathes in and says, son, I'm going to quote this. As these rivers flow, dear boy, the eastern ones to the east and the western rivers to the west, they go from the sea to the sea. They become the sea itself. Though they be rivers, they're actually the sea. Just as there they do not know phrases like, I am the one, I am that one. That which is the finest essence of the sea, that the whole world has as itself, that is the truth, that is the self. In the way that the sea is the sea and the river is the sea. Here's the phrase that I want you to remember. You are that. Tatvamasi is the ancient Hindu phrase. Tatvamasi is the ancient Hindu phrase, and it means you are that. The phrase means you are the one. It could also be interpreted that thou art. It could be interpreted that, and here's one interpretation from the ancient Hindi, of the finest essence of the world that you seek and feel separated from. You are that. The phrase from the father to his angsty son trying to live up to the gods and says, just as the rivers are simply the sea, finding the sea, thou art that. Tatvamasi, tatvamasi. I want this phrase to be anchored in your head on the 200th show. It would be a gift to me for you to just say the phrase out loud wherever you're at. Tatvamasi. And when you ask yourself, what does this mean? As the river is the sea, seeking the sea, you are that. Now, obviously, this brought a great deal of peace after a lot of thought to the sun. Adam says, loving that. Congrats on 200, Adam. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you, brother. It's my adventure hat. It's my travel hat. The Father's response to the Son, Tatvamasi, you are already that. You have to go through the journey. Just as a river has to make the journey from the mountains to the sea, it is still the sea. This is the message of the ancients, and this is the paradox of when I talk to people about their small business. If I could connect this concept to small business owners who are struggling, thinking about closing, thinking about failure, thinking about success, not knowing what to do next. Adam himself is caught between worlds. He's having a lot of success in his business, other challenges, but tatvamasi, you are the river, and the river is simply the sea finding itself again on a journey. Small business owners, if you're struggling, I'm here to tell you as a word of encouragement, you are the river, tatvamasi. Your success is inevitable. You are the success that you're seeking. It may be in another business. It may be taking your skills as a marketer and leveling up. It may be taking your skills out of entrepreneurship into the marketplace. But all you have to do is not quit. Joe Childs says one of the wisest things in the modern English language, what I'm saying from ancient, it's like becoming who we already are. This is what I wish Christians were teaching. Christianity was teaching people, becoming who we already are. We already have access to these things. The small business owner is already a success. Well, Grant, I haven't hit my financial goals. It's inevitable so long as you don't quit. Tatvamasi. You might close your business, but I mean as long as you don't quit being, as long as you don't quit trying, tatvamasi. As long as you take the skills and take the learnings and take it into you. And the other thing is quit striving. It's a phrase we've had to say quite often in Christianity. Quit striving for something that's already been given to you. Quit trying to figure out the hyper theologies of something that's been given to you by revelation. Just welcome it. As an entrepreneur, relax. Welcome it. And you'll have more access to divine creativity, your own pragmatic creativity, your own tangible ideas, as long as you're not getting wound up in, am I an entrepreneur? Am I struggling to get there? Unwind, tatvamasi. And to you, the individual, we've spoken to the Father and his Son and the small business owner, to you, the individual with personal goals. You might not be an entrepreneur. You might not be a son striving to get right with the gods. Maybe you're just trying to be better. Maybe you're trying to be a better spouse. Maybe you're trying to be a better father or mother. Maybe you're trying to be a better sibling. Maybe you're trying to get better in your health and fitness. Maybe you're trying to be a better communicator. Maybe just a better citizen. The only thing you are required by the gods to do is not quit. Tatvamasi, the gods, the one, whatever metaphysical being there is, knows that you are the river, and the river is simply the form of the sea seeking itself. Joe Child says, just take the next step into. Profound. Just take the next step into. So if you're an individual now and you have a weight goal, your success is inevitable so long as you take the next step into. Step 1 foot forward. Go to the gym this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Just take the next step. But if you don't, you're quitting. And we know that if you're quitting, you're disintegrating. You're becoming out of integrity with yourself. And what do we know about things that are disintegrating? They're dying. You might as well be a living zombie. You only have two options: quitting or taking the next step into the illustrious Dr. Joe Childs. It may be simply difficult. A river sometimes is a bubbling stream and sometimes it's a raging torrent, but it is still the sea seeking itself. And maybe you taking life lessons, your learnings and skills, and putting them into a new direction. Maybe your strategy sucks for fitness. Maybe that keto diet's not working out and you need to mix it up, but just take the next step into, just don't quit. Tat vamasi. All you need to do is to not quit and truly and deeply internalize this working metaphor. You are simply the river, which is actually the sea, just seeking itself. If I had one thing for you to take away on this 200th episode, it's that. Katie says, I already know what it's like to quit. I want to see what happens if I don't. I already know what it's like to quit. I want to see what happens if I don't. And I want to bring a great sense of comfort to you today. If you're struggling, if you're challenged, if you're heartbroken, if you're not sure where your next sale is going to come from, if you're not sure how you're going to make any progress, tat vamasi, you are already it. Now, Grant, that's some serious brain mojo that I would have to meditate on. Maybe just take comfort in the metaphor. Maybe take comfort in the mantra. I am the river, which is the sea seeking the sea. I am already it. It is already mine. And if you can begin to take it into you, the picture in your mind of what you're striving for is who you already are. Your behavior is going to be different. You're going to stand up taller. You're going to stand up stronger. You're going to maybe, just maybe, ignite your own life of explosive significance. Thank you for being on this ride with me for the last 200 episodes. Here's to a couple more. Have a phenomenal day.